Alright guys, so let's look at another problem here. In a video game, players earn points at a constant rate depending on how long they play. The relationship is shown in the table. So think there. Look at the question. What is the constant rate of change? Well, that's the key word there, constant rate of change. In a table, we can always look for a pattern to find the unit rate. So think there, look for a pattern and you find the unit rate. Well, let's look at the 2 points. Let's look at time here. What's the pattern here? Okay, and as you can see here, like from 5 to 7, how much has changed? Well, 2, 7 to 9, well, 2. What about here? Okay, so let's figure out what's the pattern is there, or the change. Okay, because remember it's always the change in y over the change in x. Okay, we need to figure this out. How much has changed? Well, you have to subtract 5,145, 5,145, subtract 3675. And subtract those numbers. Okay, and I get 0. Get to regroup. Goes to 7. He's gonna have to regroup again. Goes to 4, and I get 1470. Okay, so that's the change here. 1470. Okay, so that's what we got. And so now, I think it's a little clearer. I'll do is a pin. Okay, 1470. And here we have 2. Okay. Now, let's look at this point here, from here to here. Well, 615, subtract 5,145. We regroup, we get another 1,470. So again here, 1,470. So now think there, we have change in y over change in x. Okay, now think there, who is your x, who is your y? Well, ask yourself, can you stop time? If your answer is you can't stop time, well then this is your x, because he's your independent variable. Points depend on the time, so this is your y. So if it's y over x, well this is the y, so I'm going to put this on top, 1470 over 2. When you look for a constant rate of change, what you can find is a unit rate. So think there, you want to find a unit rate, well, you have a rate. You want a unit rate, that means uni means 1. So you divide by 2 to get your 1 at the bottom. Now you got to figure out 1470 divided by 2. So 1470 divided by 2. Okay. 2 goes into 14 7 times. You get 14. Bring the 7 down. 2 into 7 goes in 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Bring down 0 down. 2 into 10 goes in 5. And so now 735. Okay. And so that's my unit rate. Well, it happens to also be your rate of change, because you have the unit rate, it's also the rate of change. So, boom, that's the answer. Okay, look at number 2. Number 2 has a lot of wording. It says the observation tower at the amusement park has an enclosed platform that moves up and down along the vertical shaft. The platform starts at a height of 210 feet above the ground and begins to descend. Okay, this word is key. Descend, vas a descender. Okay, so it's going to descend. Descend means down, which is usually something with negative numbers. Okay, so let me write the word negative. Okay, negative numbers. So think of descend as negative. Okay, so remember, look here. Time is your independent variable. Okay, time is your independent variable. So if I say the change in y over x, well, x, remember x is your independent variable. So let's look at 4 seconds. put the seconds there, and I'll put the feet on top. At 4 seconds, I'm at a height of 178 feet. 4 seconds, it is at a height of 178 feet. At 7 seconds, I'm at a height of 154 feet. Okay? So now you look, okay, how many seconds have gone by? How much has changed? Well, from 4 to 7 is 3. How much has this changed? Well, 178 subtract minus 154 gives you 24. Okay, so this is 24, but it went down. Just like the keyword descend means negative. Well, if it's going down, it went down by negative 24. And so now think it's y over x. Time is your independent variable, which means this is your x value. So seconds is your x, feet is your y. So if it's y over x, the change in y is negative 24, because that's the change in the y, in the feet. And the change in the seconds was 3. And so now you can use your Dorito man. Do better with Dorito man. Okay. Negative divided by a positive. Negative and a positive, that means my answer has to be negative. So I can divide here by 3. And why by 3? Because of the key word here, constant rate of change. The rate of change means we can find a unit rate and have my answer. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Negative divided by a positive is a negative, and then 3 goes in 24 8 times. So what does this represent? Negative 8 over 1. Remember, this is your y. Feet, this is your seconds. So for every foot, no, I'm sorry, for every second, I am descending 8 feet. Okay, that's why you put the negative. This is the word for descend. So my answer is negative 8 feet per second. Okay, I'm descending down. Okay. Number 3 there. Number 3 has a bunch of tables. Whenever they give you tables, okay, you have to think there, okay, I can find a pattern. So again, look at that. It's telling you the constant rate of change. It's telling you you're supposed to get 1 over 6. Sorry, 1 over 6. That's what you're supposed to get. So let's look at that one there. Time, again, independent because it's the one that can't stop time. So it's your independent variable. It doesn't depend on it. Distance does depend on it. The distance you travel depends on how much time has gone by. So if we're looking for the change in y, or the change in x, which is the rate of change, they're giving it to you. They're telling you the rate of change is 1/6. So they want you to find the one that gives you 1/6. You have to find the one that gives you that pattern. So let's look for a pattern here. From 2 to 4, it's 2. From 4 to 6 is 2. 6 to 8 is 2. Well, how much are these going? Well, 15 plus 27. 15 plus what gives you 27? 12. 12 plus 27 gives you 39. So it's going by 12. And that's going by 12. Well, remember, it's always y over x. The change in the x's was 2, so that goes in the bottom. The change in the y's is 12, so that goes on top. If I simplify it by 2, I get 6 over 1. Is this the same as that? And as you can see, they're not the same. So you gotta find out which one gives you 1 over 6. Okay? So think about that. Now look at this next one here, B. It has to point 1/6. Well, so think there. Look at that point there. This is your x, this is your y. If I have this point, 1/6, this is your x, this is your y. If I put it in this format, y over x, wouldn't the 6 go on top because that's your y? And the 1 is your x, so that goes in the bottom. 6 over 1, does that look like that? I'm sorry, does that look like... what do I do? Exit. Okay. Exit, exit, exit. there it goes, exit. There it goes. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. So here, 1, 6, 6 over 1 because that's my x, that's my y. Does this look like this? And you should see that it doesn't look like that, it's the other way around. So I did 2 of them already. You just gotta figure out which one of those 2. And you must show your work. Don't give me something with just the answer. Okay. Number 4. Danisha has read 42 pages of a novel. For the rest of the month, she plans to read 24 pages every 3 days. What is the constant rate of change? Constant rate of change, always remember, that means you can find a unit rate because it's going to be the same every single time. So find a unit rate and you'll get your answer. Okay? So think there. Well, remember, you cannot stop time. So your days is always going to be your x value because you can't stop time. So it's your independent variable. So if I read 24 pages in 3 days, how many would I read in 1 day? Well, easy, divide by 3. Okay, divide by 3, and what you get here, you can figure out the answer. Okay. So, mira lo que dice aquí. Ella planea leer 24 páginas, 24 hojas en 3 días. ¿Okay? O páginas, perdón, 24 páginas en 3 días. Por cada 3 días. ¿Okay? So, si seguimos este patrón de 24 páginas en 3 días, ¿cuántas leen un día? Y esa va a ser tu respuesta. Okay? So look at that one. I'm going to give you the answer. Just go to number 5. Number 5. Okay? Number 5 is there. Number 5 is there. Okay, so now here. A passenger train travels between two cities at a constant speed. Look at that word, constant speed. Constante, velocidad constante, okay? Constant speed. After 6 hours, okay? So after 6 hours, okay, después de 6 horas, it traveled 450 miles. After 9 hours, it has traveled 675 miles. Which equation shows the relationship between the distance, d, in miles, and the time in hours? So, remember in science we had this, distance equals rate times time. Okay? So you look for those. Now, you first need to find the rate of change. Well, and we always say miles per hour, so miles, not hours per mile. Miles per hour. So in 6 hours, I'm at 450 miles. In 9 hours, I'm at 675 miles. Well, how much hours have gone by? Well, 3 hours. How much time has gone by? Well, it's 450 plus 225 will give me the difference here. And if you don't know, all you gotta do is subtract 675 minus 450, and you'll see that it is 225. Okay, so that's why I put 225 there. And so now remember, this is the change in y over the change in x. So miles is your y value because that's the dependent. X is your x value because the independent. So the y's changed by 225 and the x had a change of 3. Well, because I'm looking for rate of change, I can also think, well, I can also find the unit rate. So if I divide by 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1, 225 divided by 3, okay, 7, 21, bring the 5 down, 3 into 15 goes in 5, 75. So what does this mean? 75 miles per hour. So if I think of this equation, okay, so now it's 75 miles in 1 hour. So which one would it be? Well, think of this distance equals rate times time. Okay, Distance equal rate times time. And see if you can give me the answer to that one. I'm not going to give it to you. Number 6. Read it to yourself. What is the constant rate of change? Again, think about that. Think about unit rate. Okay, but think about again independent and dependent variables. Minutes is your independent, so then I can put this here, okay, and then look at the feet per minute, feet per minute. So let's put feet over minutes. Okay, feet over minutes. And so now I'm gonna look at the first one. 8 minutes, I'm at 3 feet. 12 minutes, I'm at 5 feet. 16 minutes, I'm at 7 feet. So then, how much time, what is the pattern? In other words, what is the rate of change? How much has passed? From 3 to 5, we went 2. From 5 to 7, we went 2. What about minutes? How much minutes? 4 minutes? 4 minutes. Remember, this is your feet, is your y, because it's dependent on the minutes x, because we cannot stop time. And so if it's the change in the y's over the change in the x's, how much did the y's change? Well, these are your y's, so that changed 2. X's changed 4. Simplify this fraction, and you'll get the answer. Okay, look at the next one there, number 7. Okay, number 7 there, what is the constant rate of change? Okay, so it's telling you the constant rate of change. All you gotta do is, well, first of all, look at this is linear. Is it proportional? Proportional. Okay. We gotta ask yourself, is it proportional? Okay. I'm gonna write the word down. Proportional. There you go. Is it proportional? Okay. Well, does it cross the origin? This is what you gotta ask yourself. So now, but let's look at the constant rate of change. All you gotta do is pick 2 points. Let's look. I'll pick the ones in the corner like this one. What is the ordered pair? Well, that's 0, 2. So I'm gonna put 0, 2. Okay. What is this one here? The one here. Well, 1 to the right and 1 down, so that's 1, negative 1. Okay. So think there. Now, 0, 2, 1, negative 1. Okay. These are your x's. These are your y's.
8th grade and 7th grade at this time.
This is your x and your y.
7th grade, you're already through the day.
So think there. This is your x and your y. Well, how much has gone by with the x's? I went from 0, I went to positive 1. That means it has 1. What about from 2 to negative 1? Well, think there. If I'm here and I move to negative 1, so you're here 2, and then you went to negative 1. Oh, let's do this one. Sorry, the y's. This is the y's, so I'm going to do the y's. If I'm here and I went to negative 1, how much have I gone down? Look, well, 1, 2, 3. I have gone down 3, and because I went down, I went down negative 3 spots. And so now think there, it's y over x, so the change in y over the change in x, these are the y's. The change in y's was negative 3. The change in x was 1. Okay? And so now you probably have the answer there. Hopefully you can figure it out. Number 8, sorry. Read it to yourself, okay? And I'm gonna look here at this rate there. Pounds per, dollars per ounce. So I know it's gonna be dollars over ounces. Okay. They give you one ratio there. They're telling you that it's going to cost you $11.25 for 3 ounces. Well, I want you to ask yourself, how much would 1 ounce cost? And then you can get the answer from there. I'm going to give it to you. Number 9, again, look for a pattern in the table. Look for the pattern. Number of months, time, you can't stop it, that's your x. That's your y. From here to here, look at how much it's changing. Always remember, it's the dollars over the months, because it's the change in y over the change in x. Let's see if you can figure that one out. Number 10, same thing. Same thing there. Time, posters over minutes. Change in Y over change in X. Remember, posters and minutes. Okay, they're giving you a few of them. After 3 minutes, the photocopier has made, look, after 3 minutes, has made 108 posters. So, en 3 minutos hiciste 108 posters. Después de 9 minutos, hiciste 324. What is the rate of change? Okay, en otras palabras, ¿cuánto ha cambiado? So, de aquí vas a ver, de aquí y de aquí. Okay, y a ver si puedes ver la respuesta. Hope this has helped you. Number 11 is bonus. So if you have number 11, I hope I'll give it to you. Alright? Well, I hope this has helped you. Bye bye.